This is FE Peer Review, the Flat Earth Peer Review channel. The date is October the 15th, 2020. This is a review of the video by Rachie 00000. The link to the video is in the description. This videos by Rachie involved observations of coins in a hallway where she was looking at them on edge at a low angle. I've tried to recreate these observations that she did. There are going to be some small differences, but they should be quite closely similar setups. I did two setups, and this little diagram shows the two different setups. In the first setup, I want to explain that I'm in the process of working on my house, and so you're going to see some of the space that I'm working in. And there's two levels of floor. There's two adjacent rooms, and the floor levels are slightly different. So I have the coin set up on the left. At the upper level, there is about 3 feet of floor in front of the coins, and then it slopes down 1 3/8 inches, 35 millimeters, and then it continues level again to the point where the camera is. And the center line of the camera lens lines up with the floor where the coins are sitting. The overall distance is 16 feet. In the second setup, I move the coins closer and I move the camera further to the right. That puts more floor in front of the coins. However, just because of the space available, I was not able to get the camera to right down at the floor level. I'm about 18 millimeters. The center line of the lens is about 18 millimeters above the floor. So we see there's a small step down here. You'll see that in the pictures coming up. That there is 17 millimeters, and then that puts the center line of the camera lens at about 18 millimeters above the floor. And the distance from the camera to the coins is 14 feet. I didn't show it in this little diagram, but this distance is roughly 2 feet. So there's about 12 feet of flat floor in front of the coins. I have two cameras, neither of which are very good. I have this little pocket camera from Sony, which I originally tried to use for this observation, and really the results were way below par. The video, it has video, and you'll see a little bit of the video, but it's very poor quality. I used it only to give an overview of the space that I was working in. This is my other camera. It's about 15 years old, but it's a good camera for its age. It's got no video capability, but it's got the ability to be totally manual. So I used the manual settings when I did the photographs you're going to see, because that allowed me to control depth of field and focusing so that I could get as much as possible in focus from the foreground to the distance. We're looking at the first setup. I have the coins. Here. What I've done is taken a sheet of A3 paper and I've taped it up to the leg of this desk, and I've draped it down onto the floor and taped it to the front of the floor. You'll see a picture of that shortly. This is kind of imitating in a small scale what photographers do in photography studios when they want to have a neutral backdrop. I stacked my coins staggered so that they'd be easier to see the individual coins. I've got 4 stacks. I've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I'm standing where the coins are, looking back towards where I'm going to set up the camera, which is right at the edge where the floor materials change. And here shows the sloped section of floor between the two rooms. I've got my builder's level at 2-meter level set up at the upper level, and I put some little blocks down here to bring it to level. There's the level bubble right there. You can see the level bubble's almost centered. I'm about 1 millimeter or 2 off on the left end, but within 1 millimeter or 2 of level. There's my blocks. So that puts me at about 37 millimeters difference between the floor lines. And there's my camera set up, ready to take pictures, and the center line of my lens is approximately 37 millimeters above the floor as well. So the center line of the lens and the floor surface on which the coins are resting are all within a millimeter of being aligned. This is a quick little bit of video that shows the coins on the piece of paper, the slope. Here's the lower level floor, there's the camera set up ready to go. And you can see from the quality of this video that this camera, the video camera, is not really capable of doing a decent job. It's fuzzy, it doesn't focus clearly. So that's why I didn't use it for the final observation. I only used it to give this overview of the room. So here's the first picture from my camera. The camera has an 18 to 55 millimeter lens, so it's not a zoom lens. It's a wide angle lens that can zoom into about a regular field of vision, not a telephoto. So this is using the wide angle portion of the lens, 18 millimeter. And there's the paper, and there are the 4 coins, the 4 stacks. There's a single coin, second, third, 3, and 4 coins. And as I look at this image on my screen, it's very clear, and I can clearly see even the single coin. Now I know when I upload this video to YouTube, I may lose some resolution on the YouTube video, so I'm going to zoom in here just to make it clear that all 4 stacks of coins are obvious in the photo. However, I can see it on my monitor very clearly right now. I'm not sure that'll show up on the video on YouTube once I've uploaded it. Here I've zoomed into the 55 millimeter setting, and again you can see the single coin. Notice that this section of floor here, which is heavily textured, that's the sloping bit, and we see that we can't really see any of the floor above the sloping bit because we really are at exactly in line with the lens of the camera, with the center line of the lens of the camera, and yet we can still see the single 5-penny coin. Here's the second setup. I've brought the coins closer in. You see the paper here. I've also taped down the front edge of the paper. I did that in the previous setup. That way that the paper doesn't curl up. The paper has a tendency to want to curl up a little bit and create its own funny shadow. So by taping the front edge down, I kept the paper flush to the floor. Here's the camera. I've pushed it a little further back onto the old floor. And again, you can see that the lens is at about 37 millimeters off the floor. And you'll see in this picture the drop of about 17 millimeters between the 2 floors. Eventually the space in the foreground is going to get tiled with my new tile, but that's not ready yet. So at the moment we have about 17 millimeters, which is this gray band right here. And then the center line of the camera lens would be about 18 millimeters above the floor line. So therefore 18 millimeters above these coins in their final setup. And this is with the wide angle view from the lens, and that's the close-up view. And you can see clearly the individual stacks of coins. I'll go back to the previous 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, I'm just going to zoom in here in case the resolution doesn't come out well on the uploaded video. There's the single coin. So there's absolutely no hint of anything disappearing on these flat surfaces. I think these 2 setups are quite similar to what Rachie did. Neither Rachie nor I succeeded in creating a setup where the entire 14, 15, 16 feet of flat floor was at exactly the center line of the lens of the camera. I did succeed in getting a 3-foot section of the floor on the center line of the camera with my first setup. That pretty much sums it up. I think the quality of these images shows what you can achieve when you've got a little better equipment. My equipment is far from the best available, but using the equipment I had, I saw no sign whatsoever of anything disappearing from bottom up. Thank you. If you liked the video, please click the like button and please subscribe if you want to see more. Have a great day.